Welcome to Brainworms and Tangents. My name is Keresa,
And I'm Pamela.
and we're two 20-somethings with ADHD on a quest to chase our impulsive ideas we can't shake. This is a self-growth podcast that is all about becoming who you want to be, one brainworm at a time.
So, Keresa, I hear you have a brainworm.
Today, I'm going to tell you about how fantasy football in the NFL has completely taken over my life. So, about in August, September, I was asked to be a part of a fantasy football league. And I don't know how familiar you are with fantasy football, but
Not at all.
Okay, great. The concept to me was just so confusing. I was mainly doing it just for the vibes and for the community, but to me, I feel like my football knowledge at that point was very minimal. I think like I understood there is football, there is the big game, the Super Bowl, and that's really about it. But otherwise, I think the NFL to me was kind of still this like foreign concept when it comes to all the like details.
Yeah, I know. So both of us in a past life in high school were in marching band.
Yes.
So I know the both of us have been to a lot of football games at one point. Now, that was a while ago, but I still couldn't tell you anything about the mechanics of the game. I know vaguely that if you get the ball to the other side of the field, that's like 6 points.
Yeah.
And then then you get a chance to kick it into the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, that's like another point.
Yeah. But there's other times where you kick it in the field goal and it's 3 points.
Oh, okay.
Or there's the time if you steal the ball and make it in, it's 6 points. So, I mean, you and I, we've probably been to our fair share of football games, but I think we really just wait for the drumline to tell us when to play, and that's really about it.
Exactly. I knew that when I had to play my flute, that meant that my high school football team had scored some points.
They did something good. Yeah.
So I'm really excited to hear what you've learned. So what has this brainworm turned into for you from the moment that you were asked to be part of the fantasy football team?
Well, a lot of it was formed around community. I think community is like the big thing that I've realized. So the time that we were filming this, we are in the playoffs. We have about a few weeks until the Super Bowl. So like we are like fantasy football is over now. Like we have completed the fantasy football I don't know, timeline, game, whatever you want to call it. There's like 17 weeks of fantasy football. I think a lot of my like beginning stages was just figuring out what all of it means. We had our draft. So I did this with some of my coworkers. So there was about 8 of us, which apparently isn't typical for a team. People usually have like 14, 20 people. The more people you have, the like worse your team is, if that makes sense. So I ended up securing a lot of good players on my team. We did all of ours through like the ESPN fantasy football app. I've learned since there's so many fantasy football apps that people use. So it does all of it for you. You pick someone who is like the commissioner of the league, and they decide like when the draft day is, how many seconds or minutes you have to pick when it's your turn in the draft. So leading up to the draft, right, I was watching every YouTube video about fantasy football, fantasy football for dummies, and like just all these guys that are telling me like, here's who you got to pick in like your draft. So I was taking notes, physical notes of the best quarterbacks, the kickers, the wide receivers, running backs, the tight ends, and then you have like a flex position.
Did you know these positions going in? Like, did you understand what each of these meant?
Not really. Obviously, like the quarterback, they throw the ball. And I also realized that the term quarterback means that they're a quarterback from the like line of scrimmage. Okay. I think. I think I need to preface a disclaimer that I might be saying things wrong about football, but I think that's the whole point. Yeah, the wide receiver, they catch the ball usually like they're the ones that are like running down the field when they're like throwing the ball all the way down there. Really going. They're wide on like when you start the when you start like the when they snap the ball, they're the people on the ends, wide receivers. Running backs usually stay close to the quarterback to like get the ball and then run it. Tight end, don't really know what the tight end does, but they're usually there. I think a lot, like I've been learning more. I don't think I'm an expert by any means.
Were the other people in your league, were they more knowledgeable than you? Was everyone kind of in the same boat?
It was a mix. There was two people that like they know football. There were some other people where they just wanted to be involved, which is kind of where I was. And then there was someone else that, I mean, again, they were just like, you need an eighth person, I guess I could do it. So that's who our team was made up of, which I think made it really fun. The thing I didn't realize was it is a weekly, almost like every other day commitment. That is something I had no idea. I thought you picked your team and that's it, and you go for it. And I think you were around me this fall when I was like, oh, gotta check my team. I was watching, like, I've never watched more football, but something about having a team that was mine, like I felt so loyal and I felt responsible and I had to watch all their games or else they were going to do bad.
Right. It's bad luck. You got to support the team.
Exactly.
Now, did you have a football team that you were a fan of? Did you have like your team before all of this?
Yeah, I think like my relationship with football prior to fantasy football was I think I was a Super Bowl only football watcher. And like the past 2 years, my team has been the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Mainly only because I did an internship in Philly, and the summer after my internship, the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. They did not win, but they were there. And I was like, I was committed. I got this shirt from a thrift store, and it's the only Eagles merch I have. But I've been like, I don't know, the Philly culture is crazy. And that's something I want to talk about is just how the fandoms of each of these teams, they all have their own like unique style and like commitment to the sport. And I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I'm a typical Eagles fan because I was watching every like game. I just wanted the teams, like each of my players, to do well. So I was watching Cowboys games, Cowboys and Eagles, rivals. I shouldn't be even watching the Cowboys games. There's something about them. I was like, I want to support all of my players, all of the teams. Like my kicker plays for the Cowboys. He was like one of the best kickers in the league. So I had to watch the Cowboys game and make sure he was kicking well.
Yeah, so makes sense. You know, I am born and raised in Cleveland, so big Browns supporter over here, which is not a fun team to support. I'm also marrying into a Packers family. Now they are passionate. Yes. They're very, very passionate fans.
Yeah. It like the Packers. So recently the Packers and the Bears played. And that was a big deal.
I did hear about that.
Because they're rivals. I didn't know that. It makes sense geographically that they're rivals. But have you seen the things with the cheese graters that the Bears did after they beat
the Packers? I did see that. He was like, no.
Yeah. But it was just so funny. And people were talking about, like, how did the Bears fans even bring cheese graters into the stadium? Like, is that not metal? Like, I don't
metal detector. Yeah.
Like, you probably could hurt someone with a cheese grater, but yeah, it's so interesting. But anyway, going back to the Browns, have you ever been to a Cleveland Browns game or been like in the Browns stadium?
No, never. I simply, from being in the vicinity of Cleveland, know that I must support the Browns, and make sure no one's saying anything bad about the land, you know?
Yeah. it's so interesting. Like, again, people are so loyal. Your team could lose all the time.
Yeah.
And like, that's still your team. That's still who you're going to root for in the end. And that was like loyalty was a big thing that I kept like my whole TikTok for you page was all about football. My like all the algorithm was like, oh my gosh, she has a fantasy league. We have to tell her this information. And that's like all the things I kept getting. Whether it was I would be like get random TikTok lives of people that were explaining who you need to look for on the waiver wire, which I'll tell you about,
Oh my
and
gosh.
who you should pick up, the defenses that were trending, and it was a whole thing. But the other side of it is I just kept getting just general football videos. So people that would like record themselves watching the game and their reactions to the winning field goal or all those things, or people surprising people with tickets to games. And I'm over
That's
here
fun.
like tearing up because this like lifelong Steelers fan has never been to a game and he got tickets and it was just like I don't know,
Well,
very
that's
heartwarming sport.
that's also something I learned recently is how expensive football tickets are. Like if you asked me, I would have been like, 25, $50. I don't know, maybe if it's a more popular team, maybe 100. Like
Yeah,
I was like Cincinnati Bengals tickets got to be like $20, right? That's not true.
it's not true. Yeah, I it depends on I think like maybe how close you buy to the game. With Browns tickets especially, the closer you buy to the game, if it's a cold weather game, you might get a ticket that's like $30, maybe even lower because there were some games where it was just covered in snow. Like you're right by the lake, it gets cold.
Yeah.
Who wants to go there? A loyal Brown fan will be there.
I
Like
guess I gotta get my tickets.
yeah, people were like when the Super Bowl came around last year, I kept seeing videos of like this girl gave her dad tickets, and I was like, "Oh, that's so nice." These are thousands of dollars to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
So, it's not just like a casual thing. Like, I don't know, it is a big deal to go to a game, but I don't know, it's so fascinating. Like I could spend concert tickets and be like front row or just be like somewhere in this stadium for this very important game.
Yeah, that's absolutely wild. But Keresa,
Yeah.
you had a method to learn more about football, right?
Yes. So as the season progressed, I think this was around November, I was like, I want to learn more. Because as I kept getting into fantasy, I realized like I'm never going to catch up to the knowledge that these lifelong fans have because they just know
Mm-hmm.
so much. So I wanted to make a quote unquote like a syllabus of the NFL.
Yeah,
Uh, so I wrote down all of these things just like that I had been like gathering that I wanted to learn more about. I put it into Chat GPT and it gave me some other ideas of things I wasn't thinking about, things I should consider, and essentially made me this NFL syllabus that I was calling NFL 100. That was the class.
that's good.
I still have to get I haven't finished it. I think I was there's so much. But some of the things I put down was there's all of the 32 teams. They have their two separate divisions, the AFC, the NFC. Then they have all their conferences sorted by north, south, east, west. I can't name them in the respective like places, but I can name all the teams, which is something I could not do prior to fantasy.
That's
Um,
pretty good.
yeah, I can do that, which is good. But like, I've surprised myself when I like know the players, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I could tell you the quarterback of this random team is just because of the watching of the sports. So yeah, I wanted to learn more about just like how the division was created, all of the things that went into it. I was like learning about the first ever fantasy football because I was like, how did this come to be? Um, but I think what I'm going to do is that was supposed to be like a fall task. I think it's going to be a summer task. I think when there's no football to watch, but I think maybe I have more time, I'll commit to really diving in. Because one thing I realized, so there's games on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Like it is a routine thing of, oh, it's time to watch football. Like that's what I was doing. I was spending my whole Sundays watching football. Because what they don't tell you, or what I didn't realize, is there's games happening all the time. Like you have your 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock games, but there's like 6 games happening at each of those times, depending on where you live. Which is why things like YouTube TV, they have like these NFL packages where you can split your TV into fours and watch all 4 games that are happening at the same time.
That's
Have you
so
seen that?
interesting. I I guess I just assumed there was a different game each day. I didn't realize that it's focused. There's a schedule, and then they
Yeah.
all happen simultaneously.
Yeah. There was this fun video I watched, I think last year. It was how the NFL schedule is created, which is like a whole team. They like make separate schedules. They present it to the schedule approver, and it's based on like your past season. You have to play each people in your conference twice, once home, once away. You play with people that are like in the other ones, and then based on like last year's rankings, they match them up. And then there are just some wild card ones that they just throw in just for fun. But the schedule is very intense, and it's a big deal when they do like the schedule releases,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole. So social media was something that I was very fascinated about. Like, have you? I mean, do you see any football videos on your For You page?
No,
No.
like none.
Okay. Well, last year, I kept getting videos of like people's touchdown celebrations.
hmm
Did you see any of those?
No.
No. Okay. So the Ravens, so Baltimore Ravens, they kept like they were practicing their touchdown celebrations, and I think that's why I kept seeing them. At this point, I wasn't really like watching football, but they did. They took, I think, High School Musical, Camp Rock. They did one of the dance scenes from White Chicks. They learned the handshake from The Parent Trap, and like these are the things that they were doing to the point where they were getting viral just for their touchdown celebrations.
Yeah, that's so fun.
And it was just so fun to watch and see. And people were just like, okay, what are they going to do this week? And one of the players ended up posting a like behind the scenes of them practicing to get one of these dances down. And it was just so fun. I haven't seen like a whole lot of fun ones this season. Um, but it is just, I don't know, it's such a fun, like that'd be the part I look forward to the most if I was in the NFL. Like, what would my dance be? Yeah. So the Bills, so Buffalo Bills, their social media team, they've been having the players talk about like an educational topic with like a teleprompter. So recently
Okay.
they were talking about wood and the different cuts of wood that you can like adhere wood together. Like
Okay.
it is nothing to do with football. But it's just like imagine watching your favorite players and they're just like, today we're gonna tell you how to make a table. And it was
So
so
funny.
goofy. Um yeah. So it's just so fun. And I get the Eagles videos all the time because I follow them, but their like social media admin team will just ask the players fun questions. Um and I don't know, it's something I think that's really fun about seeing the players like on and off the field to where like now I have this like emotional connection to these random players on this random team. I don't know, it's made fantasy football very fun.
Yeah, that's fun that it's like not only are they part of this game, but there's like you can really enjoy like their personalities and like the little like personal touches that they bring to the
Yeah.
team. That's a lot of fun.
And I one of the like my favorite things I think of doing this is just realizing how many people's lives also revolve around like football. Because so I was only really watching the NFL. But I was realizing how much, if you really want to know everything about the NFL, you also need to watch college football.
Why do you say that?
So when it comes time for like the draft comes up in April, I think. And this is where all the college players are getting drafted into the NFL. But people like, they're following these people during their whole careers. And some people I would talk to is they're like, they would just name off players and be able to like be like, oh yeah, they're gonna be like a number one draft pick. And I was like, who is that? Like, how do you know this random kid who plays football in like, I don't know, California? There are these different people.
Yeah.
So I was watching the Ohio State Michigan game, and they were showing all of the past and like the past quarterbacks for like the Buckeyes. And I was like, I know that guy. That's the quarterback for the Jets. And I was like, I know that guy. That's the quarterback for the Texans. So like I didn't know that. I recognized them in their NFL career, but like all of these people came from like one team.
That's so funny. It's almost like knowing a celebrity from the Disney Channel before they make it into like the film industry.
Exactly. It's like I was listening to them like yeah, way back when they were on Disney Channel. It's so good, but it was just so fun and I was like, "Oh." And I was with my dad at the time, and my dad has really enjoyed that I've gotten into the NFL because I'll send him things. He's a big Steelers fan, and recently, like the Steelers head coach is leaving after 19 years with the Steelers, and that's like a big deal. And he's really sad. The Steelers, I think, are sad. I don't know, but it's I would like be saying things and he would be texting me being like, "Oh, your guy just got a point." And I'm like, "Now he knows who's on my fantasy team." And it was just such a fun like I think he was really excited that I was getting into fantasy football.
Yeah, that's so interesting because you did mention that at the end of the day, it's about community.
It is.
And not to stereotype, but it seems that men are typically the ones who are very excited about
Mhm.
fantasy football. So it's just kind of funny the different ways that we form community around different things because that was like when your dad heard that you were getting into it, he's like, yes, I know how to connect on this. So that's just super interesting to be able to connect with different people because you are learning about a new total realm of knowledge.
And I think that's why it became a brainworm for me. I think it wasn't just okay, how do I learn about fantasy football? It became so ingrained in my day-to-day life. I was constantly checking the fantasy football app. Like my screen time was the highest I think in that app because you have to keep up with the players if they get injured. Okay, who's going to go in and replace them? And you have to know who to pick up the next week. Again, I was watching football the Thursday nights, the Monday nights, and like all day Sunday. So it was this kind of routine that instilled where I was like, I don't know, it became like a ritual almost. Okay, it's Sunday, what am I going to do? Or it's Monday, and Monday night is a very good example because I have my Monday night book club that I told you about. And the point we go, for those of you who don't know, my book club is called Martini Monday Night Football Book Club at the Bar, which is a very long title. But essentially, me and my friends go to this bar where they have a deal on martinis on Monday. Try to get there before football starts so we read the book at the bar, which is a whole thing, which is really fun. And then once 8 o'clock hits, we also watch football and then try to read during commercial breaks and halftime. But like that's just become a part of my schedule and routine, which has made it really fun.
You're telling me football starts at 8?
On Mondays.
And then it doesn't. How long does it last?
Like 11:30 on a Monday.
God.
On a Monday.
Yeah. And my bedtime is 9 p.m. So I cannot imagine.
Yeah. Like when I was talking with my dad, I like would text him like, "Oh, did you watch the Steelers game last night? It was crazy." And he was like, "No, I like DVR'd it." So he could watch it and then catch up. But it's just like, and then he would immediately like try to like not see any spoilers, so he'd stay off Facebook for the day so he wouldn't see anything. But yeah, the schedule is really intense this year, especially. They had these international games. I think that's when you and I were together, when I was like, it's 9 a.m. I have to watch football because they're playing in Ireland.
Yeah. We were traveling for a concert. I was super excited to see the city that we were in, and Keresa's pulling up illegal websites and trying to connect it to the Airbnb TV and just trying to get get the football.
Yeah.
Which
It's so
is
much
funny.
it's so much better to watch the games than to just get the updates of the scores. But anyway, back a tangent, if you will. The community of everything, the structure that it gave me was just very exciting, especially when I could see people checking their phones. And I was like, I know they're checking their fantasy team. Like, I could tell. And then they would look back up, they'd look down, like they're checking their team. People always, like, that's a conversation when you come back into work, like, oh, do you watch the game? It's like, now I'm a part of those conversations. I like can know the people in my office, and I'm like, I know this is your team. I can ask you about this game. And that's the thing is like sometimes your team is undefeated all season, sometimes they're not, and it's like you're still showing up every day supporting your team. And I love that. Like I said, I think being a Browns fan, I know you're not super committed, but maybe next season we'll get
Maybe
you to a
next.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing I want to ask you about, do you, this might be where our For You pages are different, but have you seen um, the third grade class from Miss Crippen, who she does a whole like NFL segment with her students?
No.
So Mrs. Crippen, she is a teacher in Florida, and she's been doing this for years now. And I've been seeing her stuff for like the past few years, but this year I was really like in it more than usual. So I'm pretty sure in third grade, like one teacher teaches like multiple subjects. So what she does, there's 32 teams. Each student gets assigned a team. They get to like randomly pick, but it's still like pretty random. Of I think she like simulates the draft for them. They get this team, and then they're responsible for keeping track of like how many yards they get, their scores. So she's incorporating like math into this big lesson that she does. I believe she makes the kids like look up different things about the team. So, like the weather, where they are, and different like history facts about the team. And it's gained so much popularity that she's had people from the NFL reach out to her. They've commented, and to the point where I think the Eagles, the Dolphins, they've like sent these giant care packages. And so like you're like
That's
a
so
random, and
sweet.
it's the sweetest thing because like you said, like football is a predominantly like male sport, and one of the things that she's doing is making it for everyone. I think that's so special because like you could just be a third grade little girl, you don't really care, maybe your dad watches football, maybe he doesn't, and now you are in charge, like your team is like the Carolina Panthers, and now you're like, okay, cool, now you're maybe watching this game. She had them all write letters to their teams, and she got a FaceTime call with one of the players, and
Oh my
he sent them
gosh.
like all these little T-shirts, little hats. Gives like usually like special things to the person who like owns the team, but then gets everything for like the whole class. And since they're in Florida, like literally people from the Miami Dolphins came to their third grade class.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like I think it's so like football's for everyone, and I think it's fun that that's something that she started doing in her class that she's been doing for years and years. The kids are excited to get to third grade because they want to have this viral thing that's happening. But that's how I felt. I felt like one of those kids in third grade where it's like, okay, these are my players. I have this attachment, and now I get to like follow them on their journey. I get upset when, they hurt their toe and they're out for a few weeks or they break their arm. But it was like I was tracking it. I was keeping track of all these things, all these different statistics. I had to like keep in mind, like, okay, what's the weather in Buffalo because that's where they're playing. Is it gonna snow? Should I switch out these people? I don't know. I've never been more just like obsessed with something that was just supposed to be like for the bit of like, oh, haha, this is football. But I was really in it. And I think that's exactly what a brainworm is. And this has been like the most brainworm thing that has ever happened.
That is really cool. I will admit, when you said that you wanted to do an episode on this, I was kind of like, it's not really what the podcast is about, is it? It's not about football and just doing silly things like that. But I really love how you've expanded it and really made it about learning something, pushing yourself past your comfort zone, connecting with people you wouldn't otherwise have connected with. I think you've shown me it is much deeper than a bunch of just people gathering around a TV and watching some men throw around a ball.
Yeah, it's so much deeper. And that's the fun thing I think I've realized about myself. I think there's like, I enjoy really diving into something. I think if I wasn't just gonna like have a fantasy team. Like, I think my personality, I was gonna watch all the games. I was gonna be looking up strategies of like who I should pick. And that's just the person I am. I don't know if that's just like, again, like a ADHD fixation thing, but it really was my hyper focus. And now that we're in the playoffs, the Eagles are sadly out. They will not be returning to the Super Bowl, which is sad. But it's like I'm still watching the games. I've found new players and new teams. And at Christmas with my family, one of my cousins looked over and they were like, "Are you watching football?" And I was like, yeah. It's a new thing. I'm watching football." And it's like now I might be in like a family league next year with them.
Oh, cute.
But it's like there's so much I could talk about, but it just opened a whole new world of like how people, like, if you watch college football, you're watching football like all the time. It's such a fun thing. And I don't know, I was just so excited to tell other people what was going on, explaining them what fantasy was. But I don't know, I think it started as like an obsession, and now I just genuinely appreciate football. So this summer I will be going through my syllabus. I will be learning all there is to know. I don't I don't know. I don't know where the world will take me. I'll still be an Eagles fan, but I don't know. I'm excited. Maybe we'll do an episode again where I can really just tell you so much more. But it's been such a fun way to continue learning as an adult in like a way that has been really fun. I still can't tell you what pass interference is. That's one that I think every game. I don't know if I'll really get that, but I'm gonna keep trying, and I think that's what's fun.
That's amazing, Keresa. Thank you so much for sharing, and I hope that you continue to learn and just continue to dive deeper into everything that is football.
Yeah, we're gonna be on a fantasy team next year, so get excited.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize I was committing, but you know what? Yeah,
I think you need to join
I'll
me.
be in it. Can my entire team be the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, they could. That would not help you on a bye week, but that's okay.
Okay, I'll sub them for the Bengals on the bye week.
Good. Amazing. Well, thank you for listening to all of my tangents. I'm very passionate now about the NFL, so I'm glad I could share that with you today.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode. To stay connected, follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Brainworms and Tangents. If you're enjoying this podcast, share with a friend, and we'll be back for a new episode Wednesday. We'll see y'all.
Bye.